Hello everyone, this is Paul Bertorelli reporting from Bovic, Slovenia. Behind me is the Pipistrel Virus SW. Now this airplane was built by a company that walked away with the NASA Green Flight Challenge for efficiency 3 times. We'll take a test flight in it, but first, here's the company's founder, Bertorelli, to tell us about the Pipistrel philosophy.
My philosophy was from the beginning to take care of energy. I'm convinced the aircraft must fly without the power of the engine, so the needed power must be only for takeoff, to climb, and then to use as less as possible energy for the cruise. So the basic idea is behind the gliders. The aircraft are designed like gliders, that the needed energy is as less as possible. And the engine in this way is smaller, burning less fuel, less emissions, less noise. This maybe 20 years ago was not so important like today is, but nowadays when everybody's thinking in the same way, we are well before the others. I was lucky that 25 years ago in Slovenia, the plastic gliders, composite gliders for German producers were produced and designed. And this know-how and these people are now and also in the past were working for me. So the know-how in the composite materials in our factory has a long tradition. And for sure, the technology we have permit us to be a bit lighter than the others, and also we are always checking and using the latest technologies to be ahead of the others.
Pipistrel is located in Ajdovština, Slovenia, which is a challenging place to fly airplanes. About 100 days a year, the place gets a pressure-induced wind called locally the burja. Rather than radar speed signs, the town has wind indicators. The morning we were to fly, it was blowing at 94 kph, or about 58 miles per hour. In Pipistrel's parking lot, the trailers have to be tied down. We drove to a neighboring town called Bovic, where we flew with Pipistrel's test pilot, Nate Faganal. First impression of the virus is that it's small and light, and at 298 kilos, or 655 pounds empty weight, the impression isn't misplaced. Construction is both superb and sophisticated, and viewed front on, you can see why the airplane goes so fast. It has tiny frontal area. Buyers can order the airplane with an 80 or 100 horsepower Rotax and about any avionics that will fit into the panel. We took off from Bovic's stunningly scenic grass field for a tour of the valley. With its high power to weight ratio and low drag, the virus has an initial climb rate of more than 1,000 feet per minute, so it didn't take long to get to a comfortable cruising altitude where we did some air work. Like most LSAs, the virus has light control forces, but it has full-span flaperons, so roll is heavier than in other airplanes. Its real strong suit, however, is raw speed, which is unusual for a light sport airplane.
We've just taken off from Bovic, Slovenia, and I'm with Nate in the cockpit of the Pipistrel virus. It's a little bumpy up here because there's a strong wind flowing over pretty high terrain out here, so we're at 7,500 feet. Spectacular scenery. Nate, you just demonstrated the cruise in this. Unusual for light aircraft, this has a negative flap position, so we don't have conventional flaps. We have spoilers, but when we go to negative flap, we actually tilt the ailerons up 5 degrees.
Minus 5 degrees.
Minus 5 degrees. Now what effect does that have?
That have effect that the aircraft flies a little bit more in front, and then that we have less drag, and then we are faster, and that reason more economical than other aircraft.
And speaking of economy, right now we're at about 12 liters per hour in cruise at 7,500 feet, and we're indicating about 220 kph.
Yeah.
So that's about 130 knots or so?
140 knots, yeah.
140 knots. And the interesting thing about this airplane, the amount of fuel is 50 liters at each
But what low drag giveth, it also taketh away on final approach. The virus really doesn't want to slow down, and even with full flaps and spoilers, the approach is quite flat. You need to pay attention to the speed to get it in short. But if you do it right, it takes very little runway to land and stop. It might cost you a camera though. Oops. You can read a full report on the virus in the May 2012 issue of Aviation Consumer at aviationconsumer.com. For Aviation Consumer and AVweb, I'm Paul Bertorelli reporting. Thanks for watching.